Salute Squad. Welcome back to another episode of Fly High Productions with Mr. Follow Up. Hey, so check this out. I don't know. Apparently, we're not having trial this morning. If you've seen the end of yesterday, how abruptly they ended the day of court, we may just be seeing a mistrial this morning. I know I'm a little late, a minute or two, but I was actually waiting on them to come in the courtroom, but it don't seem like they gonna come in the courtroom today. So what we gonna do, we gonna go back. I'm gonna take y'all back and see the end of yesterday's trial. So y'all have an idea exactly what it is that I'm talking about. And I don't know where these networks got the time from, because she never said the time. She just came in there and said we gonna end court for the day. So let's see here.
Use Venmo groups to seamlessly add and pay expenses.
Just checking other networks to make sure that we're not missing out. Well, anyway, at the end of court yesterday, guy come in there, the last witness they had on stand, I forget his name. I'm actually still not really clear what his name is. Whoop. I can't even pronounce it, so I won't even mess his name up like that. But he came in there yesterday, and he came in with, it seemed like he had a chess piece in his pocket, because he was maneuvering around that board like he had been there before, right? And he had already said some things on the stand that the defense wanted to redact, to use it was too late to take it out because the jury had already heard it, right? Which was the defense's argument. Think it was short. Got up there and he said, Your Honor, we've seen this time and time again. Your witness before this witness, which was the police, said some things on stand. At this point, I just want to move for a mistrial, right? Well, if y'all know Judge Paige Whitaker, she smoothly denied his motion for a mistrial, just like she's been doing all day. Now I'm looking at the comments, right? The comments say court's been canceled for the day. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know, squad. I think we looking at a mistrial. Because the thing with this mistrial, Judge Whitaker said yesterday, if she do grant a mistrial, Now I'm saying it again in the comments. No court today. They saying court is over for the day on the law page. Then I got Southside down here talking about court starts at 1 p.m. Nobody really knows. Like I said, I don't know where they getting this information from because, again, Judge Whitaker never gave a time to start for the day, right? After taking a long recess, she just come back. Well, she had to take a long recess. I guess she had to go back there and cool off a little bit because she got off in the DA Hilton's. She got on her top yesterday. Told her how sloppy she had been building. I mean, how sloppy she was about this case. Because again, let me go back now. This witness that we would viewing yesterday, the last witness, he comes in there and what'd he say? He said something about somebody being locked up. One person, one of the defendants, co-defendants, was already locked up, right? Which he wasn't supposed to say. You know, the jury ain't supposed to hear that. You know, these people are supposed to be presumed innocent until proven guilty, right? Well, anyway, they move on from that, and Hilton starts to, you know, she continues to question him, right? Now, she done gave him a piece of paper so he could refresh his memory. On this piece of paper, she has some literature on there that should have been redacted. Well, the witness got up there, and the information that should have been redacted, he read out loud in court. That's when you seen them abruptly, you know, move for a recess. And then, you know, she come back and she said court was over for the day. Now, I don't see nothing moving on none of these other channels as far as court. So, but like I said, I see a lot of talk over her in the comments section. And again, I don't know where they getting their information from, but it is what it is, I guess. But we gonna keep our eyes and ears open. Right now, you know what? We gonna go back to yesterday, the end of yesterday. I'm gonna show you exactly what I'm talking about here. Meanwhile, smash that like button. Share this live with your favorite cousin. I don't know what I wanted to do, but since I'm here, bear with me, squad, bear with me. Yeah, it's not a pretty sight today in the courtroom down in Atlanta. Now, I don't know what this means for Jeffrey and the rest of the gang. Again, I am not a lawyer. I don't even play a lawyer on YouTube. So all the information that you get from me is coming through the courts. Outside of my opinions that I might throw in here and there. Nah, we ain't. Don't look like Nah, here we go again with what they saying court starting at 1 p.m. And again, I'm gonna say this: I don't think nobody really knows because the judge never gave her time. She didn't even say nothing about court today. Like she had went back to her chambers and found out that they done messed this trial up totally. And she might have got the confirmation to pull the plug, but she just didn't. She didn't make us aware of that. Bear with me, squad. I know I'm supposed to be bringing y'all something here. But I done got a little distracted. Let's see here. Day 150, part 3, I believe it was. Oh yeah, here we go. Know what I done did now. Bear with me, squad. I don't know what I done did here. There you go.
with the same vanity name that he has, viewing her page, that there's pictures of her at the top of the page, and then 43NN showing the slime, showing his same vanity name with the brain emoji.
What
I believe
does 41 show at all?
41 is simply just shows that this was his Instagram page. Slime Life Shorty is Mr. Lee's vanity name. So this is just the front of his.
All right, we already know that. Don't we know that from some other witness already? So do you need?
We know that Slime Life Shorty is Winnie Lee, but the individual is taking the stand, so we can.
Fine, you can say, is this your Instagram page? And I guess you can ask him if 42 is her Instagram page.
Because you can see they started yesterday with problems.
No, then I think you're stuck with that answer. Okay?
I'm going to fast forward us to the good part, though.
Sort of the same thing. Okay, what else?
That's it on behalf of Mr. Ryan, Your Honor. Thank you.
Anybody else with any objections to any of these in this compilation?
Nothing further from Mr. Williams, Your Honor.
Okay. Nobody else. Okay, are we ready for the jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah. Question. Y'all didn't want that witness shown, and you're about to put up a picture of her.
So check this out. Now, like I said, the last witness that was on stand yesterday threw a monkey wrench in the state's plans on purpose by mistake, allegedly. Because if you ask me, you know, like I said earlier, I think my guy came in there with a chess piece in his back pocket, right? And he was pretty much willing to do whatever it took to get them boys out of harm's way. Yeah, he was a co-defendant. Or he is a co-defendant, but he's still claiming YSL. Now we're gonna listen to it because so we can get his name and everything. Let's go.
Your Honor, say like 10 or 30 and
And don't worry, I'm keeping my eye on the courtroom and see if they come in today.
I'm going to approach again. And Ms. Westmoreland, we're getting ready to do that. I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 36NN, 37NN, 38NN, and 39NN.
I need to keep that.
Yes, you can keep it. Did you see those earlier today as well?
Yeah.
say no?
I said, yeah.
Okay. And first looking at 36NN, do you recognize the people in that photo?
Yes.
And does that appear to be a fair and accurate depiction of the people who are in that photograph?
Yeah, I think so.
Now showing you 37NN. Do you recognize the person that's inside of 37NN?
Yeah.
Looking at 38NN, do you recognize the person in 38NN?
You said, do I recognize who?
The person standing next to you in 38NN.
Yeah, I see him.
Okay. And does that appear to be a fair and accurate depiction of you and the person standing next to you in 38NN?
Yeah.
And 39NN, do you recognize the individuals in that photograph, 39NN?
Yeah.
And how did you recognize? And is that a fair and accurate depiction of the people inside of 39NN?
Can you repeat that?
Does that look or appear to be a fair and accurate depiction of the individuals inside of 39NN?
Yeah.
All right. Your Honor, this time the state would like to admit 36 through 39NN.
Those are admitted.
And I'm going to first show you State's Exhibit 36NN. Who is in this picture in 36NN?
Me and Shane.
And was this photo taken in October of 2020, or was this photo taken at a different time?
I don't know when it was taken. I just see when they posted.
All right. And earlier we talked about Instagram pages. Is this Mr. Stillwell's Instagram page?
I think so.
All right. And can you read for the jury what the caption says?
Fuck the other side. Put them on TV about my dogs.
You got to slow down because the court reporter is taking it down.
Go ahead and read it. Just read it a little bit more slowly.
Fuck the other side. Put them on TVs about my dogs. Soldier reads bloody tea, Glock with bean about my dogs. Cause a scene about my dogs.
I'm not kidding. Let me enhance it.
I'm going too fast.
Yes. Okay, go ahead. Slow it down. I
Where
know
you
you want
want
to
me to
rap
go
it,
to?
but slow it down.
Where you want me to start at?
You can start from the beginning.
Say it again. F the other side. Put them on TVs about my dogs. Soldier reads bloody tees, Glocks with beams about my dogs. Clear the scene about my dog. If he F with them, you can't F with me. No, he is not my dog. That's it.
No, keep going. Keep reading the rest of it.
The rest of it is not my song.
Okay, so the first portion is your song.
Yeah.
All right. But I want you to read the rest of the post, though, for me.
Even if our position ever come down to being back to back, that's just how we're gonna rock out against whoever with you.
All right. And are there some hashtags?
No slime left behind.
All right. And is that an emoji next to that hashtag?
It looked like a crazy emoji. I never seen that.
Okay. What's the next hashtag?
2 B's.
Do you know what that signifies?
Big business.
All right. And what else does the rest of it say?
Many more blessings and riches, I say.
And is someone tagged?
I don't know who that is. Oh, there's somebody who made some clothes.
All right.
Real feel. I don't know who that is.
Okay. And what else does the rest of the post say for the record?
Thank you for this exclusive ass hat and for this crazy ass one of none hoodie.
And then someone else tagged.
Somebody named Marilyn is totally responsible.
Okay. And when was this post posted?
2020.
All right. Now, the verse that you quoted, your verse, what song is that from?
Dang, I forgot about it. For Lord Supper, won't you Dang, I don't even remember. Okay. I really don't. I think, is it Where the Love at?
And was that a song that came out before 2020 or in 2020?
It probably came out in 2020.
Okay. And in looking at this picture, do you know where you and Mr. Stillwell were when you took it?
At the studio.
All right. And do you have a particular studio that you used to go to?
No.
Okay. Where was this studio located?
I can't remember by heart, but it looked like, geez. I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I remember.
All right, that's fine.
My man may seem a little slow, but he on top of his game. I think he planned to get some things accomplished. Then after they abruptly ended and sent him out the courtroom, he kept sticking his head in the courtroom like he was trying to suck up some more information to derail the
What does no
trial.
slime left behind me?
I think that's just what it means. No slime left behind.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as 37 and admitted, excuse me.
Oh, that was my mixtape name. That's why he put the hashtag. He was supporting my mixtape.
Your mixtape was No Slime Left Behind.
Yes.
What made you name your mixtape No Slime Left Behind?
Like the No Child Left Behind thing that's in school.
Okay.
I just named it that. No Slime Left Behind.
And when you were talking about slime, who were you referencing anyone particular?
No, not nobody in particular. No, I just wanted to be different. I just named it that.
We're going to publish 37 NN.
Smash that like button for me.
Who is in 37 NN?
OG Boo. OG Boo.
And who is that?
Shannon.
All right. And can you read for the jury the caption?
Read his caption.
Yes.
Said ain't nothing more compatible than a trench. A carbon while in the trenches.
And then is there a hashtag?
Hashtag no slime left behind. Hashtag 2Bs. Life size.
Okay. And is there another hashtag?
Free Quay.
Is there another hashtag on the screen?
Oh no.
Your Honor.
It's in this paper
Your
right
Honor.
here. You got me reading.
Your Honor, I have to make a motion.
All right, I'm going to excuse you.
I wasn't looking at the screen. I was looking at this paper.
That's fine, don't worry about it. Can I ask you to step outside for just a
You see how he's talking like as if he really knows what's going on? Like he remembers she said not to read nothing that's written on the paper. This is actually Miss Hilton's fault. Miss Hilton should have redacted all that information from the sheet of paper that she gave him to read from. That wasn't smart of her at all. Now, we was following along. I was following along. I don't know if y'all was, but I was following along with the reading. I didn't see Free Quay. Did y'all see Quay? Nobody seen Freeway. And you notice the minute he said that, we had an objection. Now they gonna go in for a motion for a mistrial. Let's listen up and see what she has to say about this mistrial, though, because this judge seemed to be one-sided, if you ask me. Now she blamed the state, Miss Hilton, to be specific, for building a case as she go along. I don't know if y'all heard me say that, but I've said that plenty of times during this trial that it just seems like the state is building a case as they go along. That's why we constantly have Miss Love want to implement evidence into the case that she being so. I can't say if she's being trying to be slick about it, or if it's evidence that she's found that she just trying to slide into this trial. Well, they got on her about that a few times, right? Anyway, she wasn't there yesterday to receive none of the lashing that the tongue lashing that Judge Whitaker gave out to the state. And I wish she had been there because she needed to hear some of this. But let's go. Let's keep it moving and see what they talking about.
Mr. Lee, can you step outside for a minute for me, please? Thank you.
Now y'all heard her ask him to step outside, right? Just keep listening because you're going to hear her get on the bailiff's head about that door constantly opening. When you look over at the door, you're going to see him stick his head in, I think, a couple of times.
Your Honor, we're making a motion for a mistrial on behalf of Mr. Nichols. We're not going to be able to unring this bell. Your Honor, this is the exact same issue that while we were at the bench, I brought it up. It was Exhibit 37NN that there was a hashtag on that exhibit that said Free Quay, which would definitely indicate to the jury that Quay, has spent time in jail or in prison. The state agreed. We stipulated that they would redact it, and then the state presented, I guess, to the witness the unredacted version, didn't prep him to not comment on it, and he did. And, Your Honor, before we had the opportunity for you to preside over us, this happened already again. And I made a motion for a mistrial. Now it's happened again. So now the jury has repeatedly heard about Mr. Nichols being in jail, being in prison, and you cannot unring that bell. We would ask for a mistrial.
Your Honor, Carter Matthews for Mr. Marquavius Huey. We join in that motion for mistrial. And what's important for this court to know is that 45 minutes ago, there had been a reference to a person being in jail. Now, this witness has identified Marquavius Huey and has also identified Marquavius Nichols. So all the state had to do was ask this honorable court for an opportunity to have this witness maybe step out of the courtroom and go over with that witness that, we don't need to say anything about someone in jail, what have you. That did not happen before he went on the stand, nor after that first slip up by this witness. There may have even been a document right there on the witness stand that should have been pulled from the state of Georgia from that witness stand so that this could have been avoided. So, Your Honor, we are joining in that motion as well.
Oh, hang on. It's all right. You just didn't know, but we'll let you know when to come back in, okay?
So we join in that motion, Your Honor.
Your Honor, and I just want to briefly add that it is painfully obvious
Well, up, squad. Look like we might have a an update here. Let's see what's going on.
Atlanta's trial of the 21st century, that being the trial of international recording superstar Jeffrey Williams. You might also know him more commonly by his performing name, that being Young Thug, continues here in Atlanta and in Fulton County, and we are continuing to follow the nation's most watched judicial proceeding. I'm Tim Darnell with Yasmina Alston, and Yasmina, you and I have been following this trial since it began here, both digitally and on air from Atlanta News First. The trial never ceases to produce more than its share of headlines, regardless of whether or not the jury is even in the courtroom or not. We saw a number of developments over the past several weeks while the jury was out of the courtroom, and there were a number of motions hearings and what have you. That didn't happen this week. We are now in our second full week of witness testimony since the jury returned a few weeks ago, and we have all sorts of headlines. Let's start with one of the most dramatic that happened late last week when prosecutors and Fulton County Superior Court Judge Paige Reese Whitaker granted a motion from prosecutors to revoke the bond and the probation of one of the prosecution's star witnesses, Antonio Sledge. Take us through that whole dramatic series of events.
Yeah, so that was obviously very dramatic and a huge deal, especially for the state, because he was a key witness for them. And for those who are not familiar, Antonio Sledge was the former head of security for YSL, the record label, and he took a plea agreement, and under that deal, he was expected to say that YSL was in fact a gang. And when he gets up on the stand, we suddenly see him backtrack on all of this.
And if y'all don't know, Antonio Sledge is AKA Moontoon.
And we see something very familiar that we've seen with another star witness, where suddenly he doesn't recall things and he's not remembering things, and he backtracks on what the prosecution was expecting him to say. And I think that was a shock for everyone, including the prosecution. So we then have this hearing late in the afternoon to revoke his bond. his probation, excuse me, and that's exactly what we see happen. 5 years back in jail. Judge Whitaker, during that hearing, you know, she said, you have to take the court serious. And that's exactly what she did. I mean, she said 5 years off of that probation, and we saw him be taken into custody that very same day. And I think that was sort of a game-changing moment in this trial because he is such an important witness for the state, but also what does this mean for other former co-defendants who took a plea deal?
And let's jump ahead a little bit because what you said, it was very dramatic. Antonio Sledge was in the courtroom. He's sitting at his attorney's table. The Judge Whitaker's directly addressing him, saying we really need to pay, you know, a lot of attention to the sanctity of courtroom proceedings. And he's sitting there in his civilian clothes and he's escorted out of jail in handcuffs. Really very dramatic, and we could be seeing something similar happen in the future because recently Fulton County prosecutors also are requesting the bond revocation for another witness, that being Antonio Sumlin. Antonio Sumlin is not a co-defendant in this trial. He took a plea deal a couple of years ago for, you know, a decade or so of probation after pleading guilty, but now prosecutors want to revoke his probation as well. What's that all about?
Yeah, so when I saw that yesterday, I was actually shocked because this has happened so close to what we saw happen to Antonio Sledge. I think it'll be interesting, though, in this scenario, just because, you know, this is based on a alleged shoplifting incident that happened in DeKalb County. We don't have much information about, you know, the details of that incident, so it'll be interesting to see what Judge Whitaker does in this situation. I'd like to learn more details about the shoplifting incident, and I'd like to learn more about who Sumlin is because we have not heard from him yet. He hasn't testified up until this point, so it'll be interesting to see what she does with that, especially because a lot of the conversation around Antonio Sledge, you know, online was some people thought that maybe Judge Whitaker was a bit harsh with what she did, and others said, well, you know, he should have stuck to the agreement. So now it'll be interesting to see how she handles some of these others who are in violation of their plea deals.
Judge Whitaker is the third judge in the trial of Young Thug, and she is really moving forward as fast as she feels like she can, given the fact that this is already, well, it's not officially Georgia's longest trial in history yet, but it has been going on for more than a year for jury selection. Jury selection was the longest such process of any trial in Georgia history. We're coming up on the 1 year mark of witness testimony. Judge Whitaker also made a very dramatic ruling earlier this week when she decided to throw out the entire testimony of a retired Atlanta Police Department investigator named Ty Dennis. Apparently, Mr. Dennis made some derogatory or editorial comments regarding one or more of the co-defendants. Judge Whitaker said he knew what he was doing, he knew he shouldn't have said that, but he said it anyway. What's this all about?
Yeah, so the comment that retired investigator Dennis made was in regards to Diamante Kendrick, a.k.a. Yak Gotti. And he made a comment about Diamante Kendrick being released from jail at the time of an incident that happened that they were discussing. They had a photo of Yak Gotti, Diamante Kendrick. He was standing on a car that belonged to an alleged rival gang member, YFN Lucci. And they were discussing this photo, and somewhere in his testimony, former retired investigator Dennis made a comment about the fact that he had been in and out of jail. And that's what then prompted Yak Gotti's attorney to file a motion for an immediate mistrial. And I thought that was interesting, too, because, you know, retired investigator Dennis is so important for the state in this case, but he's also testified in other cases. This was not a first for him, so he's very familiar with how this works. And there was a lot of chatter about, how did this happen? Was this a slip up? Like you said, Judge Whitaker said, he should have known better in this instance. The state did ask Judge Whitaker to reconsider that decision, but she stood firmly on that, at this point in time, he's out. That testimony is out, and he's not coming back.
Yes, Mina, we've talked a lot about Judge Whitaker, who is the third judge in Atlanta's trial of the 21st century, here on this edition of our Young Thug on Trial podcast on Atlanta News First. Let's take a little step back, because we had another major development recently. The trial's former judge, the original judge, Fulton County Superior Court Judge, Chief Judge, Ural Glanville, had ordered one of Young Thug's attorneys, Brian Steele, the other being Keith Adams, but he had ordered Brian Steele to be held in contempt of court, ordered him to be arrested, taken into custody, and to spend 10 weeks or 10 weekends in the Fulton County Jail after Brian Steele refused to disclose to Judge Glanville how he learned of a secret ex parte meeting between one of the trial's key witnesses, Kenneth Copeland, and Fulton County prosecutors.
How did you get that information supposedly from my chambers?
Mr. Steele, I am going to hold you still hold you in summary criminal contempt.
Every parent knows when it's time to go into protect mode.
that the state is not prepping their witnesses. You can tell by the way when the witness spoke the first time. And he
My
said,
fault,
"Oops,
squad. I
I'm not
dropped the
supposed to
ball
say
for a
that."
second,
Like,
but
I
we
had
back
no
in the
idea.
building.
Which makes it obvious that the state had not spoke to him, had not prepped them, and this has happened repeatedly. It's happening over and over again, Your Honor, and we're just not going to be able to unring 100 bills.
And finally, Your Honor, Mr. Marquavius Huey, we all have, it's been established that that his nickname is Quay.
Okay, isn't there going to be, I mean, we talked today about, isn't there going to be a stipulation that references to Quay, at least at some points, are not either Mr. Nichols or Mr. Huey? I mean, we did.
Yes, Your Honor, and that's a few things. So one, Your Honor, it was not intentional because we clearly...
Okay, but it was sloppy because I presume he's reading from the document that you handed him instead of reading from the screen.
And we should have instructed him to read from the screen, but...
Or you should have presented him with a document that had that part redacted. It's just sloppy.
The issue came while he was on the stand, Your Honor. So the issue did not come prior to. Ms. Westmoreland walked up to me while he was on the stand and said, "I'm going to have an issue with that. Can you redact it?" That is when the state became aware.
Then it should have occurred to you, you know what, I'm handing him a hard copy of this document that is unredacted.
But
I mean,
not if there's multiple Quays, Your Honor. If I don't know which Quay that.
Hang on. Can we stop having people come in and out when I've asked the witness to step out and every time the door opens they can hear what we're talking about? Please, just for a few seconds.
That was your witness coming back in and see what he can suck
I'm not
up.
asking anybody who's in here to leave. God have mercy, y'all. Huh?
The state is in charge of the witness, and they're supposed to be guiding the witness to the room.
Yeah, I mean, there seems to be.
And so that is the point in which we learned of it is we redacted it on here. Ms. Westmoreland brought it up here.
Yeah,
when
and
I
you
came
didn't read that. I mean, so the jury
said-
didn't see it, but now the jury has heard it. I don't think it is really that, much of a crisis because there is going to be this stipulation that Quay is not always either of these defendants. So, nor is it obvious to everybody that free whomever is such a quote about who knows, everything these days. And so it doesn't necessarily indicate that whomever Quay spent time in jail or in custody or in prison or anything. I mean, they say it about, Hollywood stars who are in a breakup. I mean, it's not so obviously, oh, this must mean this person was in prison. But also, we were already saying Quay isn't either of these people. So let's just, and whether this was one of these people or I don't even know who it did refer to.
And we don't know because it's not his post. He was reading someone else's post. So it could be a multitude of Quays.
You talked to his attorney earlier, right?
Yes.
And did you get any kind of an indication? I don't know if this was one of the things you were going to, but it's an issue now. And you said before lunch that you were going to ask Mr. Rubin.
Yes, we did ask.
Do you know at this point whether the free Quay referenced, this wasn't even his post, was it?
It wasn't, and it wasn't an issue until so when I talked to Mr. Rubin at lunchtime, this wasn't something I was going to address with him because it wasn't I did not realize it was an issue. Mr. Rubin found out for me that Slack Quay is not either of these two Quays.
Okay, but this isn't Slack Quay, this is just Quay.
Right.
I know. So why doesn't everybody, well, they don't know how it's spelled. They only heard it. Why doesn't everybody just enter into some sort of a stipulation that the free Quay or the reference to Quay just now isn't either of these people?
I don't know if it is. So it was.
Whether it, okay, so.
Your Honor, the state can enter stipulation that we weren't referencing any. We, as the state of Georgia.
Okay, that is not a reference to, if you would prefer that.
I don't know what the poster is referencing.
I don't honestly really care what the poster was referencing. What I'm trying to do is fix your sloppiness. so that everybody won't have wasted, 10, 12 months of their lives in this trial.
Yeah, we can come up with this.
Okay, do it now. Y'all work on that. I'm going to take 5 minutes.
Now, as you can see, she was rather frustrated when she left, right? And it's almost like she runs back to the chambers and she have to go back to her thesaurus or her reference guide to make sure she's not being corrupt. But I'm gonna fast forward and we're gonna see what she had to say when she came back. Yeah, so apparently it won't be no court today. It's not looking like it. And for reading some of these comments, first they said no court, then they said it'd be starting at 1 o'clock. So we shall see. But if you ask me, squad, we slowly coming up on the mistrial here. The way court abruptly ended yesterday, and then with them not having court this morning, something's going on inside of this courtroom that they not informing us about. But more than likely, they're going over probably those motions for a mistrial. And Judge Paige Whitaker probably want to comb through that and make sure, it's not going to make her look bad because she's been denying mistrial after mistrial. I don't know if she's taking this personally, as if, they saying it's a mistrial because of something she did. I don't know if she's it seems as though, but I'm not sure, but it seems as though she's leaning towards the state.
Maybe I'll come up with.
And she's actually helping them build the defense herself.
All right, wait, hold on, Matthews. Before you say we have a stipulation, F.
Listen
Judge,
up.
Once you rule on our mistrial,
Right.
on my motion for a mistrial.
Okay, so are you asking, what kind of a mistrial are you asking for?
Your Honor, I believe that we were goaded into the mistrial.
Okay, well, I do not believe that, because if you had seen Miss Hilton's face when that came out of the witness's mouth, she was appalled, and I do not believe that they are purposefully trying to insert error into this trial to make y'all ask for a mistrial so that they can try this case again. I think it is continued, and I am sorry, y'all have, this giant.
Tell me this, squad. Do you think it's important what the judge thinks? That's the whole problem that I'm having with this trial. They like to implement a lot of things as far as they personal beliefs and or whatnot throughout the trial, but a trial is to be held so that for the defense to prove themselves innocent, or not even to prove themselves innocent, because the they supposed to be assumed innocent until proven guilty, right? Then on the other hand, we got the defense. They whole point, like I said, is to prove that the defense is guilty of committing a crime. As far as Young Thug, they failed at that. I haven't seen outside of the one audio call that comes in that says that it was Young Thug uh, that came to our house or did a shooting or some to that nature. Don't quote me on that because I can't quite remember right now, but I know it was a jail call. I mean, audio call that came out, the 911 call that came out, and the female on the other end said it was Young Thug. So, but as of yet, that female hasn't shown up in this courtroom as a witness to point him out yet. So, that might go right out the window as well. But you would think that she would have been one of the first witnesses that they called up here, right? I don't know what the state's problem is, other than the fact that they don't seem like they on their game, they A game. That's all. Or should I say, the defense seems to be a little more on their A game than the state. But let's hear Judge Whitaker out, man, and tell me if I'm tripping or not. But it sounds as though she's rather upset for what reason I don't know. She gets rather sassy with the DA Hilton, but I ain't gonna spoil it for y'all. I'm gonna let it run.
Gigantic, ginormous universe of evidence that maybe if you narrowed down, you would not be making these kinds of mistakes. But I believe that to be a mistake.
Your Honor,
So I'm going to deny a motion for a mistrial with prejudice. That one, I don't believe that the facts bear out. Would you like a mistrial without prejudice?
yes.
You would? Who else would? That means, of course, that the state would be free to try every one of y'all again.
Judge, just a moment.
Sure.
I really don't think Judge Whitaker was expecting for her to say that. Seemed like she got kind of upset with her saying, "All right." She's just like the state with they leading questions. Uh, and that was the end of court, y'all. That was the end of the court day. She came back in there, briefly came back in there, stuck her head back in and said, "Court's over with for the day." And ever since then, we haven't heard from the court system with this trial here. So now I'm gonna do my little homework, man. I'm gonna go 9 times out of 10. It's a few motions out there for this mistrial. And if motions have been set in place, I'm pretty sure that the defense gonna have a reply to the motions or whatnot. So we gonna look into this and see what's going on. But this has been an update on the Young Thug YSL RICO trial, right? It's all the information we have to this point. So don't believe myself, Mr. Follow Up, nor Fly High Productions have just dropped y'all off. It's actually the court that's postponed things. So, but I'm keeping my eye and ear on things. So you will be updated. Hit that notification bell for the next video to drop, or my next live, or the latest update. So you'll be one of the first to know. Meanwhile, hit that like button. I appreciate you rocking with me over here at Fly High Productions. I am Mr. Follow Up. And I'm out. Squad up.